The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Well, it is time for a fact that makes your brain go. Now, 42 years old, something happens to you that is a turn for the worse, and you can control it. This is something you can look forward to if you're younger than 42, and you're getting there, you're like preparing for it, like Case and Kenzie, you're younger than 42. Now, if you're past 42, you can still do it. You can still do something to change to make you healthier for the rest of your life, but you got to get on it right now. And what that is the average person in Chicago gets really negative at the age of 42, where everything upsets you, everything you want to have a rant about, everything. Like, for example, they did a survey of this, like grocery prices. Of course, we're all pissed off about those right now. You get angry about it. Politics. That's at 42 is when you really amp it up, where you start being negative and getting in debates with people you probably shouldn't get into for no reason. You're in social media, you're on Facebook yelling about whether it's Trump or Biden, you're yelling and back and forth, and you waste 3 hours doing it, and then you realize maybe you should have done something like go for a walk for that time.
A workout or something.
Yeah,
Cook a nice family dinner.
Yeah, maybe treat yourself to some nachos or something instead of arguing.
This happened to my dad around 30.
Is that right?
It's just,
Yeah.
just anger.
Yeah.
We used to call it his Sunday face. We used to say that because when we were all getting ready for church on Sunday, he'd always end up cursing us all out. Like, we'd always get in trouble.
Where's your church pants aren't on right?
Get your ass in the dress. We gotta go. It's like, this is Sunday face. It's not going good. You're going to have to repent.
There's some funnier things at 42 that start getting you more negative, like crowds. Now, Case has
That's
this right.
me.
Case has this right now at 25 years old.
Do I?
I think you do. You want space, even though you go to all the hardcore shows and get in the pit and all that. But I think otherwise you don't want people around.
This is true.
Outside of your show.
He doesn't want us here. He just wants to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want the Case show.
Yeah, we know.
Everybody would love that.
That's Case's goal. I'm like this with a bunch of people, though. So I'm 29, and boy, when I see a line, am I just like, oh, no way. I don't have enough life left to win that line. Wasting my years.
I think lines are probably worse than crowds because over the weekend, I was on a stroll with my lovely girlfriend, and we stopped by Jenny's Ice Cream.
Ooh.
Oh, the lot in Wrigley?
It was in Logan Square.
Oh, God.
Line half a block long.
Unbelievable.
Before you continue, pretty good year, huh?
I've had a good year.
Because ice cream's like $10 a scoop at Jenny's. It's so good. It's really good.
I don't know. I think you meant in general. Like, how's your year going? I'm like, why are you asking right now?
Pretty good year. Could get Jenny's
like
ice cream.
talking to a squirrel. Get on track.
He has to go to Baskin Robbins or Dairy Queen. He's going over to Jenny's.
Dairy Queen's still expensive.
It's not Jenny's. You're right, but Jenny's is like,
Listen,
man.
it's Chicago.
I get
They
it.
tax you for bubbles in your soda.
I understand
It's all
that.
going to be crazy.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyways, line of Jenny's.
Go ahead with the line of Jenny's.
If I may.
Go
to
ahead.
show you what a good year that I've had, we went to Jenny's after dining in at Paulie G's Pizzeria, which has the best Detroit-style pizza in all of Chicagoland.
Oh, big statement.
And paid a lot of money for that pizza, and then went across the street. And I'm ready to bail because all I wanted, it was Saturday night. I was going to go home and watch the NBA playoffs, but it was important that before we go home and watch TV that I treat my girl to a nice night out.
That you treat her like a good,
I'm
like
trying.
a person.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm trying because she, believe it or not as into the NBA playoffs as I am.
Shocking.
So there's balance there. But I see this line and I go, well, I guess we just won't have ice cream. The line's too long. I'm not waiting in this. And she talked me down. We got to wait in the line. I got my blueberry and lemon ice cream by the end of it, and it was a good night. I'm glad we waited. Some people have more patience than I do.
But you went 0 to 100 and you were done.
Okay, Brian, I feel like maybe you'll relate to this.
Okay.
But I have become, and I'm being self-aware right now, a little bitch because...
Wait. About what?
Well, you hit the ding, hit the ding.
Okay. Because, and you probably relate to this, everywhere that I have worked in radio, I've always ended up having to do an amusement park broadcast. So like a Six Flags,
Sure.
broadcast. When I was in Minnesota, it was Valley Fair, like all these different places, right?
Yes.
And I've always done broadcasts. And when you do the broadcast, you get to go, they bring you like up the exit because they let you like do rides really fast. And then
Cut the line.
so you can come back and talk about them on air. Now, you always have to wait. I never, ever, ever took the front or the back seat because people were waiting a long time for those. I'm
Sure.
like, throw me in the middle, okay? But I didn't want no beef, okay? But because of that, if I go anywhere, I'm like to an amusement park, I'm like, what is this? This is the entrance?
Yeah.
Why there's people all the way back to the ride's all the way up there. I am such a spoiled brat. I don't know if I think I'm Mariah Carey or something like lines. What is this?
Wait, these 300 people are waiting to ride the same thing I want to ride? Holy cow.
This is my park. I came here today.
I can relate because I've done those broadcasts and you forget, and you will forget this eventually, how awesome it is to get this cut in line stuff.
Oh.
And people pay for it now. I think you can buy a cut in line.
You can buy Fast Pass.
Yeah.
It's still a line, but it's like the shorter line.
Yeah.
I don't care. Our pass was even faster because it was just like you get to go to the front.
Yeah.
The worst was, the absolute worst is that like I would just look down though. I would never look.
Nope.
Because everyone like when they stop it and then they open the exit side so you can walk and sit.
Yeah.
And then they open the rest of it. And everyone's always staring at you because they thought they were next. And you're like,
oh. Well, look at the time. Get this coaster going.
I would like limp a little so people would be worried about me.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. A lot of rumors with Linkin Park coming back with a female singer, and some of those would have been Amy Lee from Evanescence. That's out there. Nothing confirmed, but coming back and doing some new music with her. I was still personally waiting for more music of some of the leftovers, the audio that's been there from Chester, just kind of sitting in vaults. But I would also be fascinated to hear what Amy Lee sounds like with fronting Linkin Park.
Ooh.
I mean, that'd be pretty amazing.
It's going to be like chilling. It's going to sound so good.
Veteran of Q101's Twisted Christmas Concert. Such a great show with Evanescence. So back in the day and all that stuff. All our old, archived stuff is housed on our YouTube channel, on all of our socials, and at Q101.com. Now, pouring one out. Sad day. Pouring one out over the weekend. Great loss of an icon. And I'll just play the trailer from what he's known for, and then you can probably pretty much figure it out.
The double quarter pounder with cheese meal. I think I'm going to have to go supersize.
It's hard for me to watch him go through this.
So it seems like you're starting to get addicted to it now.
You saw these numbers, right? These numbers are outrageous.
Unfortunately, you caused some major harm to your heart, your liver, your blood.
You're gonna die. You'll die.
I want more.
You gotta stop.
I love that music at the end.
It's a Jaws.
That's great. I know. So we're pouring one out for Morgan Spurlock, the creator of the documentary Supersize Me. He passed away over the weekend at the age of 53 of cancer. And the documentary was known for going to McDonald's, eating it for a month to illustrate the dangers of a fast food diet only for many people out there.
3 meals a day there. So
Yes.
you do the breakfast, lunch, and dinner at McDonald's. And I know that I had to watch it in school, in health class.
That's fascinating to me that they showed that in school, because I was obviously out of school when this came out in 2004. So we're actually looking at the 20th anniversary. We go back 20 years. I can't believe that documentary is 20 years old at this point. And I remember it sending shockwaves around the country, and it forced McDonald's to get rid of supersizing of all their meals. And it showed definitely he gained 25 pounds, I believe, is what he did at the end of that month of eating McDonald's only for every meal. He had 5,000 calories a day. He also experienced, obviously some increased cholesterol. He said depression, sexual dysfunction.
Oh. How do you figure that out on the road? They cut that out in school.
Yeah, they didn't show that part in class.
He didn't get to the hotel and go, "Oh, my dick doesn't work" on the camera. They didn't talk about that.
There must be bits in the director's cut.
The extended version, the supersized version, if you will.
He also had fatigue, shakes, and fat accumulation in his liver.
Now, shakes like...
Shaking. Not eating a shake. I love shakes.
He experienced shakes. I'm like, I bet he did. McFlurry. Delicious.
Yeah. So he passed away, young at the age of 53 of cancer. Now, of course, this led to people trying to say, eating the McDonald's for a month did that to him. And negative jokes in the comments of this. The guy died, okay? And he certainly was a pivotal in the generation of starting to make documentaries cool.
And truly, there's going to be some scholars who are like, they were interesting before, but they kind of sucked. And this was better. This is like the real life. This is like MTV True Life. That's what I'm talking about.
It really was, because before that, documentaries, and listen, I love old war documentaries. Over the weekend, there were so many on like the Battle of the Bulge, and there was the other guy. It was very, very dark and sophisticated.
You going to do Morgan Freeman?
Kind of like that. They were like, they went down to the battle, and Kenzie's already gone. He's already
I
out.
want to know what happened when they went down to the battle.
See, I got
They fought.
Case.
What do you think happened? I'm like, I got it.
He couldn't find Tommy. He looked back for Tommy, and Tommy said, I'm right behind you. Got you all the way. We're going right there to take
How
the
did they know
enemy.
what Tommy's at? No one's alive from that.
Somebody,
I hate when they have direct
well,
quotes.
there's always a very.
How do you know?
Listen, there's a very, very usually there's one veteran that's telling all these stories all the way through.
Oh, yeah. Nobody ever lies.
No, they don't. Anyway.
Sure, Arnold remembers everything. What?
I was thinking of Arnold Schwarzenegger for a second when you said that.
So too.
I was trying to think of Arnold. I just got sidetracked in my brain for a minute. All right, so Morgan Spurlock passed away. And again, that was part of that. Michael Moore made like Bowling for Columbine and all those documentaries about the Flint car stuff. And that was the era of just starting to make them cool and likable. Because now you go on Netflix and you might watch documentaries all day.
It's like the best section on Netflix, which that used to be a nerdy thing. Like you want to watch a documentary, and now it really is probably the most interesting category there is.
No question. I mean, think about all the murder documentaries. Like we have Kenzie Crimes coming up here in about 20 minutes at 8:20, and that led to that. The crime stuff is so huge. Those are documentaries.
I know.
And you can go back to Morgan Spurlock on that for that one. At least he's part of that era of bringing those to the forefront.
I know you told me, Brian, and I disagree, that this ended up being slightly debunked as not educational, and I never heard that.
So I remember just being sold as that basically if you eat fast food every meal, you will get fat and die. And we've already proven.
That was not the end of it.
But that's how it was very sold. And we heard it in the trailer there. It made it sound like that. Now, things have been debunked of like the facts that he ate 5,000 calories a day of McDonald's, and no one eats that kind of diet. If you eat that diet of anything.
I mean, a lot of people eat that kind of diet.
And
That's the point.
And if you do, you're going to die.
Right. Okay. So this is where I disagree.
It doesn't matter if it's McDonald's or not, is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if it's fast food. If you eat 5,000 calories of healthy chicken or whatever, you're going to eventually, it's going to catch up to you.
I don't know. This is like a bodybuilder. They eat like super high in calorie.
But most people aren't doing the burning off like Michael Phelps, 20,000 calories a day.
I'm just saying. But okay, so this was my argument against that because you were like, this is what people are saying about like, well, this isn't realistic. And I go, it is realistic. There's a lot of people who have fast food 2 or 3 times a day and they don't feel like they're overeating because it's just that's only 1 or 2 meals.
Right.
So he wasn't snacking and doing all this stuff. He was having 3 meals a day at McDonald's. He wasn't getting 2 or 3 of each meal and then eating that as a meal. He was getting a number 6 or whatever. And I'm like, you're giving people too much credit. Like, a lot of people don't count calories and like, well, I'm just having a meal at McDonald's. And there's plenty of people, like single people, who are doing that more than once a day. So I feel like that isn't misinformation. He's having, I think so many people would think that they're not like eating a ton, you know, even though it's so high in calorie because it's fast food.
Well, they might say it's the salad or whatever, which has more calories than the quarter pounder with cheese, really, at that point.
Some of them don't. Oh, some of those salads, the dressings be snapping.
That's what I mean. And they got a lot of calories in them. But my point is, he exaggerated. There's certainly exaggerations there. For example, they said his liver was falling apart. Well, I'm not trying to demean the man and death, but he was an alcoholic. He openly admitted that and talked about recovery. And he was binging during that whole time of the documentary. He was drinking pretty hard. So that probably affected his liver and some of the other things that went on with him at the time.
Okay, so my question is, though, did you watch this? Do you remember it?
Oh, I've seen it, but it's been a while.
Okay, so I felt like he was pretty full disclosure because at the very beginning, he goes to like a dietitian and stuff like that, and they take all of his, like, they measure everything, right? So total body fat percentage, this, that. And then he comes back after the exact 1 month checkup. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like he was measuring just that 1 month. He was probably an alcoholic before that month.
Oh, he was.
So that was already there.
Yeah, but also,
you know, this was the change, if you will.
He did talk about really binging during the time when he was drinking. These are his words, by the way. So he did that. Also, we've had several stories of people that eat like McDonald's every day and they've been eating 50 years and they lost weight or they're very healthy. I just think the point of that everything in moderation is okay, and in non-moderation, it's not okay no matter what you eat. Now, he did send a wake-up call to people eating fast food, and it made McDonald's stop making Supersize Me. So maybe this is the vitriol in my voice here, Kenzie, because I loved supersizing my meals.
It's stupid to get rid of supersizing. Why? That's somebody's specific choice.
Thank you. See, we agree in the end.
Who is getting supersized going, well, I mean, obviously, this is healthy.
I've never looked at going to fast food when I want it as a healthy option. It's a treat.
You don't have to take anything off the menu. You can get a quadruple cheeseburger and enjoy it one night. But I just thought it brought attention because this was at a time where people were, I think, really starting to indulge in fast food, like busy families, fast food. And it's like, hey, even if you're only having just a normal meal, like a burger and fries, it's still fast food and it's not probably as okay. Even though you don't think it's healthy, you don't think you're having a salad, you probably think it's just kind of normal. And I felt like it was just more to highlight that because they're playing it in school. And as a kid, I would have thought nothing, like a teenager, I was getting a burger and fries. I'd be like, it's kind of a normal meal. It's not a huge deal. And I felt like it did its job in that essence.
And it did, I think. At the end of the day, if it stopped people from eating fast food for every meal, then it worked. But Case told me that too. You told me that Case said that they showed it in your school.
Mandatory viewing in health class. It was like a whole big event because like I hadn't seen it until health class, but other kids in the class had, and they go, yo, there's a scene where he throws up in it. And imagine being in a room with 12 and 13-year-olds knowing a guy's going to throw up. It becomes
chug.
It's the event of the century at that point. And then he throws up, which is the most memorable moment of the movie. And it's all like, oh my God, he did it. This is crazy. Really good documentary.
I remember being one of the only people who felt hungry while I was watching it. I'm like, I could use a burger right now.
I'm glad you said that because I just had a really dark thought where I was like, oh, this guy ate McDonald's and drank for an entire month? That sounds awesome.
What a life.
Kind of.
He's living
And he got paid for that?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Carpe diem, baby.
Live Moss, as I always say.
That's right. I mean, that's the thing. It didn't change me because I still love going to Wendy's and McDonald's when I want a treat. That's where I'm Culver's. When I go, that's where I'm going.
Your daily treat.
That's right. But I don't eat every day like that, and no one should.
You change up the restaurant.
That's
You're
right.
not an animal. You don't just go to one every day.
Yeah, I mean, Mondays are Culver's.
Yeah, of course.
Tuesdays are Wendy's.
Well, that way you get different things on the food group.
Yeah, that's right.
Different food
The
groups.
food pyramid
Yeah.
leads me to Five Guys burgers and fries.
I love his pyramid. It's just like Wendy's, McDonald's,
Yes.
Portillo. It's just a pyramid of different restaurants.
So good.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
Sports.
And sports is brought to you by the Marquee Network. Stream Cubs baseball at watchmarquee.com. Now, both teams in a little bit of a bad stretch. Cubs started a series with the Brewers yesterday. Not a good return for Craig Counsell till Milwaukee. He got totally booed by the crowd there, which I don't understand in a way.
Why?
Because
I would. Yeah, they
why-
should take that. And they took that personally.
Well, the thing is, he did nothing wrong with him except leave for the highest paid manager job in history.
But it's the rivalry.
I
If
get
he
it.
went to the Dodgers, he wouldn't get booed. Do you know what I'm saying?
I get that part, but also I understand booing somebody when they come there if they did something really wrong or were an a-hole. He was a good guy, got offered the most money in the history of baseball to be a manager for the rival. I understand. And
It's the rival. That's just what's touchy about it. I really feel that way.
I totally get it. I understand. And I think people can boo whatever they want. You pay a ticket, you can boo whoever you want when you go to a game. I get that part. But I just remember the Cubs, and I believe it was Cole Hamels who was pitching for the Phillies, had a no-hitter going, and Wrigley Field, this is that 7 years ago? No, but it couldn't have been the World Series. It had to be before that, when the Cubs were really in a bad stretch. And so Wrigley Field stood up and wanted him to get the no-hitter, even though he was a rival with the Phillies. Not a hated rival, like not a typical Brewers-Cubs rivalry. The Phillies-Cubs are not like that. But they were in awe of a no-hitter and wanted to see it at this point, and kind of stood up in his last couple outs, and he got it. The complete game no-hitter. So, I don't know. Craig Counsell,
This is like this. You know, this reminds me of a little bit. This is Brett Favre going from Packers to Vikings.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you spit in the fans' face like that? It's just too much.
But also, he did a lot of good for them.
Right,
So don't
but
you? Yeah.
it's just personal at that point.
I know.
This is okay. We cheer like when Rizzo comes back, right? Because he's with the Yankees.
Yeah.
But not for Contreras because with the Cardinals. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
I also want to further contextualize this. They booed him because they played a tribute video to Craig Counsell before the game, which felt highly inappropriate because he didn't leave them.
Oh, did they tribute him?
Yes, they did like a whole, it was like an in memoriam video, but it was just an in memoriam of his Brewers career.
But Wrigley does that. Wrigley does that for past players when they
They've
come
done
back.
that, yeah.
Bryant, Rizzo, all of them got that.
Now for Contreras.
Yeah, because he was a little bitch about it.
That's right. He was a little bitch about it.
Remember?
he talked smack about the Cubs after he
Exactly,
left.
so there's a difference.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think Craig Counsell talked any smack
he
about the
didn't talk
Brewers.
smack, but he did talk about kind of always wanting to be, because that's kind of what Wilson did. Wilson, he was like, I imagined myself as a card. Now we're like, what'd you just say, bitch? What did you imagine yourself as a card? Like, that bothered everybody.
I get it.
He didn't just take a contract. Everyone else got applauded.
I'm probably being hyper to it. I just thought it was a little unnecessary.
Yeah, well, because now this is your coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So you're protecting him like a Rottweiler.
And it's the manager, too. I mean, come on. Baseball is a player sport. The manager doesn't do that much.
I disagree.
Well, you don't think it's important?
I disagree. Also, I did think it was crazy they got the tribute video for the manager. I know Craig Counsell played for the Brewers, but that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
His managerial highlights, like, what do you have, a slow motion video
pointing.
of him? Yeah, like, hey, round third.
Yeah.
You know when they like cover their
Did they
mouth
show
and
him
talk
driving? Did they show him driving the work?
Yeah.
I mean, you're the manager. Oh, you know? I don't know.
What did it look like? Do we have the highlight reel?
It was a lot of him pointing. Spitting out sunflower seeds, shooting double bubble.
Getting thrown out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a video I want to see.
That's our guy.
Maybe it's just me. Anyway, the Cubs have lost 5 in a row now. They'll run it back tonight. And after losing 5-1, White Sox lost 5-1 to the Blue Jays. Now the White Sox have lost 6 in a row. Blue Jays on the south side again tonight. But we have to hear about Case finally getting the s'mores shake.
Please stop.
The s'mores shake.
It's the Campfire Milkshake.
Okay.
Just say that.
Can you say Campfire Milkshake, Brian?
Campfire Milkshake. So what'd you go, Friday's game?
I went Friday against the Orioles, and we got there really early because the last Sox game I was at was opening day, and I'm unfamiliar with there being a big crowd at Guaranteed Rate. There was obviously a big crowd on opening day, so we were late to the game. We didn't get the milkshake. It was a whole ordeal. We got there super early this time around. For anybody that's going to a White Sox game or has gone this season but hasn't been able to find the milkshake, if you go to the Xfinity Kids Zone, which is in the 300 level, you'll want to be in that area, but it's in the Vizzy Bar right below it. So you'll be in the 100 level in left field. You'll walk up these stairs, and then you'll go to this beautiful bar area that I had never been to before.
Well, you don't drink.
I know, but I've explored the ballpark. I mean, I'm aware of normally what they have, but this is a whole different area that I had never been in before. I don't know if you need a specific ticket to watch a game from there, but it's a gorgeous view. The whole bar area there is great. You get your milkshake, you pay $15 for it, you tip the wait staff, and then you get your Campfire Milkshake. And I have to say, this White Sox team is miserable. I do not like watching them. They have caused me a lot of pain this season. This milkshake is one of the greatest drinks I've ever had. It lives up to the hype and more, and I am not just saying that. Next time you go to a Sox game, pluck down the $15. It is worth every penny.
Woo!
They need to use Khalees. My milkshake brings all the brings all the fans on the yard there because that's like
Wait,
the
how's
number
that
one,
go again?
Milkshake brings all the fans because this has got to be the number one draw right now. They got to lead with it.
They should.
They need to lead with the milkshake. They should put out a billboard of the White Sox and just have the milkshake on it.
Oh.
Well,
awesome.
that'll be useful come after the trade deadline because they're going to get rid of all their players.
Exactly, but like milkshake's still here.
Yeah, milkshake's still here.
I don't know if you know.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Because 300 level, is there an elevator up there to get up there?
Okay, here's what you do.
I can't remember.
Picture this, Brian. You're in the 100 level. You're in left field.
Right.
There's a stair set that says upstairs to the Vizzy Bar. You have to walk up about 10 steps.
He's done.
And then you're in the 300 level.
He's never going to taste this milkshake.
I can get to the 300 level in 10 steps?
It's just a small stair set. Now, I'm sure it's ADA accessible. There might be an elevator somewhere. I did not ask. I used the stairs. I was able to do it A-okay.
Good for you.
I know. What can I say? I'm a warrior.
All right. Mike Tyson's, quote, doing great after a medical emergency on a flight. This was kind of going down in real time as felt like a Prince thing where he was almost dying on the plane. They asked for doctors, and he's got a fight coming up with Jake Paul. I love how they say the vlogger turned boxer. He's actually an incredible boxer, and he's 30 years younger than Mike Tyson. But it's false reporting. They say that the fight will be called off, and it was an ulcer acted up, an ulceritis, I guess they called it.
I don't know where you stand on this fight, you guys, but I'm weirdly protective over Mike Tyson because I think in his early life he was taken advantage of. He was surrounded with bad people. He made a lot of mistakes in his life, but I think he's paid his debt to society. His tattoo, not a good one, but he's paid his debt to society. I think he's come out a better person for it. They are taking advantage of him again in this situation. I hate the idea of this fight. Brian, this seems like something that would entertain you, so maybe you don't feel as strongly about it, but I hate this.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait for this fight.
You know what I want? I want to hear him say s'mores milkshake.
S'mores.
I want to hear Mike Tyson say that.
I can't wait to get to Chicago to go to the Comiskey Park to see you get a s'more shake.
How come you could say it then?
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.